tell me if you recognize this cycle. You have a lot to do and all you want to do is relax. When you finally get some time off, you can't because the house is messy, or you know there are unread emails in your inbox, or your brain starts to say mean things to you about how if you were more lovable, you'd have friends who would have invited you out instead of you being on the couch. And when was the last time you went to the gym or meal prepped? What a lazy bum you are. So you get up, you do more stuff, you feel overwhelmed, you want to relax, and the cycle continues. In this episode, I'm going to explain why that happens and what to do about it. Welcome to Unfuck Your Brain. I'm your host, Cara Lowenthal, Master Certified Coach and founder of the School of New Feminist Thought. I'm here to help you turn down your anxiety, turn up your confidence, and create a life on your own terms, one that you're truly excited to live. Let's go. Welcome to the 8th episode of this limited mini-series I'm doing here on the podcast with a sneak peek of each chapter of my book, Take Back Your Brain, How a Sexist Society Gets in Your Head and How to Get It Out. We only have 2 episodes left in this mini-series. That means release day is coming. So if you have not pre-ordered because you've been putting it off, procrastinating, today's episode is for you because it's all about time management. Today we are talking about chapter 9 of the book. And in some ways, it's funny that time management is a separate topic because really everything we do is about our time. So there's no such thing as sort of time management outside of the complex web of the rest of our lives and the choices we make about what our priorities are and what to do with ourselves from moment to moment. But it is certainly true that some people get more done than others. In the past 6 months, I have launched and sold my new book, which is coming out in May, as you all know, with a campaign designed to hopefully sell enough copies to make a bestseller list. That means that it's essentially a full-time job between strategy, marketing, PR, podcast, media, etc. I have kept my previously existing, already more than full-time job I already had of running a multiple 7-figure business with a team of 10, keeping everyone employed, keeping the lights on in a challenging economic climate. I have planned a wedding. I have planned a group honeymoon for 35 people, which is essentially like operating as a small travel tour provider. I have planned a book tour, which meant planning 10 public events and parties. I've looked for and found a rental house upstate and managed my normal life of social events, house and family stuff, finding time for my partner and I to connect, time for myself, all of that. Now, obviously, I've had help with all of these things. I have a team, all of that. But it's still a shitload of stuff to have gotten done in the last 6 months to a year. And I won't lie, I have been working more than I normally do, but I'm also fine. I'm not burnt out. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not on the edge of losing it. It's all getting done. So how is that possible? It's not because there's something special about me. It's not even really just because of how I use my time. It's because of how I think about my time, because our thoughts are what create our feelings and our actions. So we can't just try to intervene with time management at the how you act stage. We have to also consider how you think. That's why in chapter 9 of the book, I'm not really just talking about your schedule or your calendar. The logistics of how to manage your time and organize your life are important. There are absolutely better and worse ways to do that. And we actually have a great bonus when you pre-order this week that teaches you my organizational system, which I'll talk about more in a minute. But this chapter of the book really focuses on the deeper issues that impact how women think about and use their time. So first, we get into the intersections of patriarchy and capitalism, because there are a lot of layers of socialization that impact how we think about work and rest. There's patriarchy, which tells women their worth and value are defined by how they serve others, which is an endless job. We also socialize women to believe their home needs to look like a magazine in order for them to feel worthy, which means it's very hard to relax at home because there's always housework to do. We have the puritanical Christian socialization that idle hands are the devil's plaything, however that saying goes. Not a Jewish saying, but you know what I mean. That industry is virtuous and we have to be wary of sloth, which is basically like saying that chilling out and relaxing is sinful. And then capitalism piles right on top of that, making us believe that our worth is dependent on how productive we are, which means that working or other things that we have coded as productive, like housework or exercise, pretty much anything other than resting is productive in our minds, right? So we are always trying to be productive, and that has been kind of collapsed into the category of things we think are virtuous. So all of this contributes to a situation where we do have a lot to hold and manage, and we make up stuff for ourselves to do and feel both like all we want to do is relax, but then we don't know how to relax, and we feel bad about ourselves when we do try to relax. So subconsciously, we're motivated to keep busy all the time. It's an endless cycle. In order to change this, we have to understand the thought patterns driving this behavior. So this chapter takes us through those thought patterns. First, we talk about procrastination and avoidance, which are actually not indicators of your moral worth or value, or even whether or not you have commitment or discipline. And I share in this chapter what's really going on when you procrastinate and avoid, what's happening in your brain, and I give you an exercise to help you solve it so that you don't procrastinate and avoid. Then we get into all the ways women load our schedules with shoulds. In other words, the way our socialization manifests on our calendar. This chapter also does a deep dive into unequal divisions of household labor and how that impacts women's time and their emotional and mental resources around time. I talk about how intersectionality makes it more challenging for some people than others to let things drop or let things go in the home or with their kids because there are disproportionate consequences depending on your identities. But I do still give practical tips and exercises that will help anyone find the places that they do have some wiggle room. I promise you do have some places that you can let things go, even if, or especially if your brain says that you don't. This chapter also tackles a really important area of awareness, seeing how we perpetuate socialization in our decisions about how to use our time. This can be challenging to see in ourselves, but it's not about blaming ourselves for anything. We're just trying to create more awareness so we can change. And finally, the chapter helps you reclaim your time and priorities with some exercises to help make decisions about managing your time better. Once you've done all of that, the next question is, what is the most efficient and productive way to organize your life so it all gets done? Once the mental drama is cleaned up, there are better and worse systems to use. And I couldn't fit all of this in the book, but that is something you can get just this week as a disappearing bonus. So when you pre-order the book this week, which means by midnight on May 19th, you will get an instant download of what I call my Get It All Done system. So this is the foolproof system I use, and it organizes your work, your life, and your mind. It addresses all of those. It's so important to understand that we cannot just address our thoughts and then expect everything to just happen efficiently, nor can we ignore our thoughts and just try to use a system. That doesn't work. You need both. I have an entire system that makes that possible for you. And that system is usually only available inside my coaching program, the Feminist Self-Help Society. But this week, if you pre-order the book, you will get an actionable guide that teaches you exactly how to set up that system. That system is why I have been able to do everything that I read off in that list and stay sane. So I am a huge believer in it. I live my own life by it. I have accomplished everything I've accomplished using it. And everyone on my team uses it. That's why we get so much done. So highly, highly recommend. You can get this for free as long as you pre-order the book by midnight on Sunday in your time zone, May 19th. And as soon as you place a pre-order, you'll be able to get the bonus. And if you pre-order the book this week, you'll also get next week's bonus, which is like the grand finale of bonuses. It is the Encyclopedia of New Thoughts, and it is hundreds of new thoughts that you can use whenever you want. It's like a volume of pick a thought in any area you need, and there's lots of different options for you so that you don't have to come up with your own new thought if you don't want to. You can just borrow one of mine. You can use it as is. You can use it as a starting spot. You can tweak it, play with it. It is going to make self-coaching and changing your thoughts like child's play. So that and the Get It All Done system, both yours when you pre-order the book by Sunday, May 19th, midnight, your time zone. And remember, if you pre-ordered the book previously, since we started doing this series, you already get it. It's already coming to you. All right, go to unfuckyourbrain.com/book or text your email to +1 347 997 1784. That's +1 347 997 1784. And the code word is book. Or go to unfuckyourbrain.com/book. And I'll be back on Thursday with your regular episode.